Hi, hello, happy Sunday. Happy Sunday where we do our lives, helping you basically answer any of the nuanced questions you have put on our YouTube channel. And today we're specifically helping you create a piece of Pilates equipment for way less than you think. So we're gonna talk about push-up devices, why you need them, how to make your own. We made this one yesterday and we're actually gonna make a set with you here live so you can see how long it takes and just kind of go over any questions you have about using them. It's really important to me when I was making the flashcard deck for the accessories, so the props and other apparatus. I really wanted to make sure that as much of the deck as possible could be handmade. So I think we're at like 70% of the deck is hand. You could make it or you could use household products. And Brad is here because I don't know how to use a saw. So that's really what it is. And what I have learned from many of you listeners is that you either have someone at home who does or you are brave to advocate for yourself at a hardware store. And I promise you, you do that, people will do things for you. I love, people don't work at a hardware store unless they want to. That's my actual belief in this world. Like a hill I will die on is most people actually enjoy the hardware store. So Brad is sitting next to the push-up devices. So
these are the model that we're going after, and these are amazing and beautiful and they
stunning.
Feel really, really nice.
Let me explain.
Also fantastically expensive.
Yeah, let me explain to you why they exist like that. So that is hand-spun wood. Something that they would use in marketing, right? Hand-spun wood. But actually what that means is it was truly hand-carved to that shape. Because back in the day, these were your weights. These are vintage weights. These don't weigh anything anymore, but you can see how they simply were the weight that was used at the time, and then they put metal. I don't even know what that is. What kind of metal is that? Steel? Steel. Well, that's gonna be more expensive.
It's not aluminum.
That's gonna be more expensive.
Yeah.
So, anyways, love these. They are amazing. They are limited though, in that who can afford that? And we have seen from our own viewers here, hi Shields, and some members that they were able to find some on some of those cheaper platforms that will remain nameless because they are the mafia. But you can find them for like around $50 or $60, like a different version. But we actually were able to make the PVC one. A whole set is going to cost us under $30. So the reason I'm sharing that with you is because one, you can support your local hardware store. And two, you can make them yourself, and you might even want to change some of the dimensions a little bit when you make them. So we went to the store. Brad's going to show you the PVC pipe that we got.
Yeah. So first, let's get you a list of what you're going to need to do this.
Yes.
This is like one piece of PVC.
1 inch.
It's a 1 inch thick piece of PVC, and it's, I want to say, 5.
This looks like 5 feet, yeah.
In length, and we just bought it from the store just like this. Mm-hmm. No cuts. This is exactly the piece we got from the store. And
the cool thing is, based on the cuts we need to make, we needed just one per push-up device.
Right, so 1 5-foot pipe makes this.
Yes.
But we're also going to need a couple more pieces here.
Yes.
So we're going to need a couple of T's. An elbow.
Yeah, he's going to show you closer.
T, right?
Yeah.
Here's the elbow. Pretty straightforward.
And
here's an end cap.
And so you'll need 2 elbows per handle. And you'll need 2 T's per handle. And then 4 end caps per handle. So 1 5-foot PVC pipe. And then 8 end caps, 4 T. Were they just T's?
Yeah.
And then 4 elbows. Okay, it's going to make a whole pair. And again, for the teachers watching, you're always like, what can I gift my clients? Oh my God. Not that I want you spending $30 per client, but you could actually, for your really dedicated clients, like what a cool gift this would be for them to do some homework. So really, really fun. Do we have a question before we get to sawing?
Megan Slattery said, my Ace hardware is the best.
Yeah.
Last purchase was an axe.
Oh, you know what?
I saved your tutorial on the footwork. That's my to-do list. I'll add this next.
Yes. Oh my God. Oh my God. Thank you so much, Megan, for watching and for being here. And if you have questions, feel free to ask. And Ace is the friendly hardware, folks. That's what they say. That's what my podcast ads keep telling me.
Well, let's talk about tools. Speaking of axes, here's what you're going to need. We're going to need a marker.
A marker. Measuring tape.
Pair of safety glasses.
Yes.
And
you can use a hand saw or you can use a table saw. So Brad's not going to saw on live because we're not Tim the Tool Man with the fancy gadgets and cameras or the sound canceling situation you're going to hear. But we did pre-measure everything. So it's so cool is you can literally measure, okay, I need 12 inches for the handle.
Yeah, so let's talk about the measurements.
And we're going to put all of this in show notes and a blog, you guys. So don't worry, but you can write this down now.
So
okay.
All right, Vanna.
All right.
This is 12 inches, this piece.
You mean Vanna White?
Vanna.
Okay.
Yeah, this is 12 inches right here. These are 10 inches right here. Okay, and then turn. These are 5 inches, but you need 4. So you got 1 12-incher, 2 10-inchers, 4 5-inchers.
And I wanted to point out, because you're probably looking at the height of this versus the height of this push-up device here. And we clearly measured this push-up device, and I didn't realize that the height of the PVC on the bottom would be so much thicker. I'm not a handy person, you guys. That's why I love doing this, so that you can see, like, not a handy person can do this. So what you probably could do if you want it to be more around the 10-inch height is cut a whole inch off. So you could do 9 inches on either side. The reason I'm not mad about it being 10 inches is a lot of people struggle with the jump throughs anyways. And so having that extra little bit's probably going to be helpful for you. And then if it becomes so easy, then you can drop an inch off. What we don't want is them to be unstable. Yeah.
Now there's one last piece that you can get, and it is glue.
There's glue.
So there's a little can of PVC glue, which we will include a photo of in the blog post. But mine's out in the back shed here.
Yeah.
But you can get glue because this will move if you don't glue it. However, if you're not twisting it like this, it's pretty darn stable.
Yeah.
Right? So I did not glue this first one that we made.
Just in case we needed to take it apart.
But yeah, if you're making this and you're going to put it in your studio for other people to use, I would recommend gluing it.
Yeah, anything where you could be liable.
Yeah.
Remember, we go back to that pedipole, because I had somebody on Instagram going, show me how to make a pedipole. And I'm like, we've already done a live on it. I want you to watch it. I know this person's from New Zealand, so like I fully understand the costs of ordering a pedipole to New Zealand. That being said, your insurance might be appropriate, but like if you are teaching people on things and you are making things, you want to make sure that they don't move. If you're doing it for yourself at home, you probably can skip the glue.
So you can see my marks here, and I'm going to go use a saw, which means I'm going to go outside to the table saw.
Yeah.
And I'm actually just going to chop this up. And then we'll come back and assemble it together.
So while he's chopping it up, I'm going to chat with you about exercises on the push-up devices. And I can also move the camera to show maybe how to use a table saw. Do you think?
Sure.
Okay. You might get a little dizzy, but we'll talk about it. Okay.
I'm going to keep this door shut.
Yes, you should do that. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so if you have questions, feel free to put them below, because I am watching that as well. That's what's over here. Okay, so when I studied with Jay Grimes, I asked him many times about the push-up devices. When I worked, because first of all, they were so expensive when I bought them. I was like, why did I buy these?
Are you going to move the camera?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, he's cutting it, guys. So let's take a tour. You're going to take a tour. You're going to see our backyard. Here it is. All right, so he is going to cut that on each of the lines that he marked. So that's really cool. So while he cuts that, what I want to tell you is, like, I asked Jay Grimes about the push-up devices. I said, okay, do we just do push-ups on them? And he said, yeah, because when you do push-ups on the push-up devices, you can actually go negative. You could do negative push-ups, and that's really hard to do in a lot of places. And you have to remember that Joseph Pilates was teaching a lot of boxers, right? A lot of men, but he also is teaching a lot of gymnasts and dancers and performers and circus performers. So the push-up devices were really helpful for those people to do negative push-ups, but I find the push-up devices are super helpful for people who have wrist issues. So if you have wrist issues, maybe putting your hand flat on the floor is not an option. So I had a client with a metal plate in her wrist, and she would use the push-up devices to do her push-ups when we were doing the mat work. Look how fast that was, by the way, guys. So fast. So she would do her push-ups on the push-up devices. I'm just going to put you back where we were because her wrist could be straight, right? So she could do them there. Also, if you joined us for spring training, you know that we talked about how important it is to, if you're not able to do push-ups on the floor, if you elevate the push-ups, they become easier. So yes, you can make the push-ups more challenging with the devices, but you can also make them more accessible, right? So then the gymnasts and circus performers would do a few things. And I did add these into the accessory deck because I do find, even though I'm not a circus performer, they are really helpful for me being able to do my Pilates practice. So you can practice jumping through. We have tutorials coming out with these exercises. Hello. You can practice jumping through. So it's like a rolling like a ball, but with upper body strength. You can practice your leg pulls. Again, for those of you who have wrist issues, Brad's fixing this because I definitely didn't do it straight. Brad, thank goodness for Brad. You can do the leg pulls with them. You can do handstands with them. I actually will put a short up soon about, or it might be up already, how I use the push-up devices with this Cadillac to practice my handstands. You can actually practice, there's the hanging pull-ups where you hang from the Cadillac and you do beat, 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 beat. That might be hard to hang with grip strength like this, but with the push-up devices, you can actually hold yourself up this way and practice those beats. So there's a lot of fun things that you can do either to strengthen yourself. You can practice star with them. And then honestly, like using some towels or slider discs, you can really start to play with like long back arms and tendon stretch, and the world is your oyster. Okay. So here we are. Now
let's put it together.
We got lots of hearts and a high five. So hello, thank you. Keep them coming, you guys. We're trying out for the Today Show. Okay, so this is obviously our handle. So we're gonna put an elbow. I'm doing it clearly because Brad is watching me do it, and also just so you can see, like non-handy person can put an elbow on a stick right there.
Tap
Tap
tap.
tap.
Good.
Oh, okay. Well, you should do that. Then you probably don't even need glue now. Okay, so then we're going to take our...
I think you still should have glue. But
10 inches, yeah. I mean, still, liability, always.
So the glue would go, it's like a little paintbrush, and you just put it around here. Mm-hmm. And then as you're putting the things on... Yeah.
But you can put it together first and make sure you like it. So it makes sure the height is good. What's nice about doing 10 inches, if you're like, oh, that's too high, you could easily cut, what you need off. So you could cut it if it was too high. You don't want to go too short because then you have to go back to the hardware store. Yeah? Then, Brad felt good about that. Then we're going to put our T on, and it goes that way. And I'll just let him tap it.
That's okay.
All right. And then you put your sides in. You know what I was also thinking? You could get some of that like gymnast tape that you could wrap around your hands that like if you have sweaty palms, you could probably wrap it around, make it a fun color, and also make it a little, if you need a little more grip, to it. So I was thinking that would be really fun. You can make it a fun color. Okay. So amazing. So now we have a pair of push-up handles, and that took like a minute for him to cut everything, right? So like this is...
when you have the table saw, it goes fast.
I'm going to also just say, you got a little plastic.
Yeah, no, it shoots plastic everywhere.
Okay. I'm also going to say, like, out of all the things we've shown you what to make, like the 2x4, the sandbag, this is almost as easy as the toe corrector. Like, it felt so much more possible than, like, I didn't have to have a staple gun and make sure it's even. And, like, it just felt, I drill through without it moving. Like, so good. So
if you don't have a table saw, it will take a little bit longer because you got to saw it.
Yeah, but that's your workout for the day, though.
You can get a small one. No, they're not that expensive. It's Yeah, or borrow one from your neighbor.
Yes, and you know what, that's what neighbors are for. To someone have a table saw, they could cut 5 cuts for me. I'm sure someone in your neighborhood can't wait to show off their saw. I'm telling you, anytime we want to borrow something from a neighbor, they're like super excited. So let's talk about how to use them.
Yeah.
Okay? So we're going to use them up here on the Cadillac, which is not where I would normally use them.
Just because our sage is set up.
Yeah, but this is fine. So normally because you normally want to be able, this is a little narrow actually. So
okay. Do you want to come down?
Yeah, I would like to come down. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. And then also something that I probably would do is just put some sticky pads underneath. Move them forward. All right. So I'm just going to put a little sticky pad. Nope, that makes it a little dangerous. There we go. Sticky pad. So I would put sticky pads underneath depending on the material that you're standing on. Go down. Great. Okay, so here's what you do. You stand at your push-up devices and you round down. And then you step back into a plank. Boom. And then you do a push-up. Boom. And then you step in and then you roll up. So let's talk about the mat exercises we just did. We do a standing roll-up. You pull one knee into your chest. That's a single leg stretch. You stretch it out. That's a single leg stretch. Single leg stretch. Push up. Single leg stretch. Single leg stretch. Roll it up. Okay? Can I move them back just a little bit, Brad? Yeah. Okay. So something that I'm working on is a jump through. Okay? So you would be in your push up, right? And then you're going to jump through and not land with your feet. They would land up here. So what I've been practicing on is being in a push-up and then pulling my knees in, woo, and then just swinging, getting control, so it's rolling like a ball, and then reaching the legs out and beating. And then you try to pull your stomach back, and you would ideally land back in a plank and step back in. And then we could do a handstand. I actually kind of don't mind the height. It's a little high. Yeah, I need more sticky pads. So I need 4 more sticky pads, 2 more sticky pads. So I'm going to show you guys how to practice your handstand on here. I'm not going to, I need it to be here. And we need uno más sticky pad. Maybe. Just because I want to make sure I feel even with these metal ones, I always use a sticky pad. Always, always. There should be one in the well. If not, I've got one in here. So,
no idea.
It's all right. I just need help. It's in here.
Oh.
Yeah. So, look at that. Pretend whoosh. And the TVs, they would just make it happen. Oh, they're not in here. Okay, well, I'll take that yoga mat. So a yoga mat would also suffice. Look at that. Look at all these options. Perfect. Brilliant. Okay, so you want to place your push-up devices about your shoulders distance apart. Make sure they're secure. Then you're going to come onto your Cadillac, okay? And then you take 1 foot up. Ooh, these are a little high for how tall I am for the handstand. So,
Can you touch the ceiling? Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So I'm going to show you with my push-up devices how you would do it. But if you have taller ceilings, you're probably okay. I just feel like I'm going to be unsteady. So.
You're going to be on the ceiling, not unsteady.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm expecting to do. Brad said I'll be on the ceiling, not unsteady. And it's, when you're expecting something different. So you take the leg up here and you use the bar. And then you bring this leg here. And then when you feel secure, you bring this leg here and you use the bar. and then you bring the leg down. And so you can practice handstands. So I have to say, I'm very, very thrilled with this. I'm very thrilled with it. Clearly we made it and played with them live with you so you can get the full, open, honest answers. I would actually, having worked with them a little bit, glue them for sure. Because I felt like, because when you're imbalanced as you're trying to practice these things, I felt a little movement, twisting. Just a little twisting, not enough to hurt like I was gonna roll it, like it definitely had, but just enough to like make you question yourself. And then, depending on the height of your ceiling, if you're wanting to do handstands, I probably would do a 9-inch arm here. But if you are struggling to jump through, you might, like if you have leg abundance, you know, you might want to have that space for 10 inches. Because if you're like, let's say I'm not doing a handstand, that was cute, then I would keep the 10 inches because it was actually quite nice to easily jump my legs through. And someday you want to like lift your hips up. What do you think, babe?
I mean, this was a 5-minute trip to the hardware store.
Yeah, it was the shortest
5 minutes to put it together.
It was shorter than the 2x4 because the 2x4 we had to find a straight piece of wood. Yeah. You know, and then the dowels we had to like go all. The PVC is all in one aisle. Everything is right there. Yeah. It was amazing. Amazing. So anyways, we hope this is helpful. The accessories deck is shipping end of the summer of 2025. That means this summer. We're really, really proud. The push-up devices have push-ups and the leg pulls with the dips and the beats and star and a handstand in there. That's 5 cards, right? Out of 80 something cards. I didn't put a bunch of things in there that people have done. You can find on YouTube, and I might even explore. And the reason is like depends on your practice. So I think it's really easy for us to go, oh, there's 25 exercises on the push-up device, and I have to do all of them. And you have to remember with the accessories, you have to do the ones that are right for you. So right now for me, working on my handstands is part of my practice. Working on my jump throughs and my beats is part of my practice. But for you, it might just be doing an elevated push-up so you're not in your wrists, right? I think that's worth, if you can do push-ups without pain and you can get a much deeper elbow bend, that is worth spending $30 on a trip to the hardware store because push-ups are so key for core strength and as we get older, what we need. So I'm excited for you.
You could even make multiple sets that are different heights.
Oh, yeah.
So you can actually make them real short so you're as close to the floor as you can just to get that elevated wrist.
Yeah.
But you could make them halfway or you could make them tall like this. So, you know, lots of options.
Something to think about, the taller you go, the wider you're going to probably want to make the base, I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, this is pretty stable with the measurements that we provided at the beginning of this. This is pretty stable here. But if you go any taller than this, I would absolutely go wider on the base. I agree.
Yeah. And then have fun with the colors or putting things around it.
Yeah, you can paint them.
I think we have some last minute questions, Brad, before we wrap this up.
Let's check it out.
Hold on. So again, the accessories deck you can get at opc.me/flashcards. You'll be waiting for it to ship, but then you'll make sure you'll be guaranteed to get one because we always do a limited run.
PVC apparently comes in colors. Yeah, there's black, there's blue.
They did not have that at our hardware store, so if you know you're going to want a color, maybe you have to order it online. Because
I think a plumber would say it's a different. They have different uses. Blue is usually for water.
Oh.
And I think it's a different type of material.
It's fine.
All the same
I don't think it matters. Yeah, but yes, my hardware store only had white and black, and then, I'm probably going to just wrap this with a pretty tape.
Yeah, Megan is saying that's what I wanted to do, multiple options. I think that's a great way to go.
Again, because you're making it yourself, you can, right? And it was, my plants that I bought cost more than these things did. So, take your dog to a hardware store. They have a good time and, make a few. But also, again, I think these are excellent homeworks, things for people to use at home. Always, one of the things I posted yesterday on Instagram is everyone is trying to find a cheap reformer. That's what everyone wants. As if that's the thing that we all need. And the reformer is amazing. Trust me, it's great. If you go to a reformer studio one time a week, but then at home you're doing the mat work 2 times a week, and then another day you're working with your 2x4, your sandbag, your push-up devices based on what you need, you are getting the full Pilates system. You're going to get the full benefits. But if you're like, I got to get a reformer because I can't afford to go to the studio 3 times a week, but I get a cheap reformer and then I can, do a YouTube workout, you're going to get some benefits. You will not get all. It's impossible for the reformer to do that because the reformer is there to help you find the connections that you need when you're off the reformer. And what I always tell people is if you never give yourself the opportunity to see which is possible, and I always, teachers challenge me all the time, like, I have clients, they can't do a full mat. They can do 2 mat exercises. Your clients, those of you watching, even if you feel deconditioned, you still get up out of bed, right? You still get up out of bed. We got to teach you how to roll up properly. If that means you're doing a half roll down, that's fine, right? You probably can do some version of single leg stretch. You can grab one leg, you can grab the other leg. The other one can be on the ground. Like you can maybe hold yourself and roll like a ball. You can hold the plank. There are mat exercises you can do that can be homework. And if we don't show ourselves what is possible in our body, we don't take cool trips and we don't experience cool things and like, oh, there's like this art exhibit over here and I have to like step on this color and step on that color.
Go up a series of stairs.
Yes.
Or it's, unstable or something.
We're watching The Four Seasons, a new show, but not that we're getting paid to plug this, but I will say one of the things that like he was one of the characters saying, it's like she looks at an escalator and has to like practice before she steps on. And I know that's a joke, like it was meant to be funny, but it's actually real. A lot of people are like timid because they're going to lose their balance. If all you do is a reformer, you're never actually challenging your core strength imbalanced, right? And so that's what push-up devices can do. That's what a 2x4 can do. Like I love my dad into the airport on his own today. He's flying on his own. He's going to call his own Uber. When practicing at the park, I'm like, can you step up sideways? Let me see how you can step sideways. I'm like, okay, because you know what? We were walking through the casino and his tennis shoe clipped the edge of the tile, and he went doo-doo. He caught himself, and that comes from 2x4 work. That comes from practicing mat work. So the reformer is amazing, but it's not the only way to do Pilates. And if you're only doing reformer, you're missing out on the system. Anything else? All right. I love you guys so much. What?
𝐒𝐈 made a bar with orange PVC.
Yes, I saw the pictures. Fun. It's very fun. 𝐒𝐈's husband or partner is also a plumber, so he knows where to get all the good PVC. So she's got the hook up there. The rest of us are mere mortals are stuck with this. But anyways, make a couple pairs for yourself. Make them at different heights. Tag us when you do. I'd love to see how you use them. And keep us posted on your questions. Keep them coming in. We go live on Sundays. By the way, we had several of you join OPC after last week's spring training and already send in videos of you doing exercises. And it's so much fun.
That's great.
Yeah. Brad's like, that's amazing. Yeah. No, shout out to Heidi and Shields and there's a couple others whose names I'm escaping me, but I'm so happy that you're part of the family. OnlinePilatesClasses.com/YouTube is where you go to try us out for 40 days for $40 and be part of the family where we actually like really do help you have more access to Pilates. So you can actually do OPC in addition to the studio work you're doing. Have an awesome day.